I get stretched out for these things. Are you smelling a rose at me? I looked over at her and she went. Maybe I should do this. Hello.
Oh.
Hello. Hello. Oh, I got it. Hi. How's everyone doing? You can whoop and scream if you like, but I do not require gratuitous whooping and screaming. We will whoop and scream when things actually make us whoop and scream. I will not say something like, "How are you doing today, Winston-Salem?" and then yell really loud and get you to scream. Are you having a good convention? You know what'd be funny? Every time you think something is awesome, everyone stand up and do an interpretive dance pose. That'd be really weird, right? So it'd be like, what do you think of Android 17? That'd actually be wild. So, my name is Chuck. This is my panel. It's a good panel. I usually have my shoes off and I usually, are you recording me right now? You're recording me? Hello. Hello, look, there's someone else recording me too. Hey, here, you take this one. Good. I'm gonna go over here. This person over here is recording me too. Here, you take that one. Over here, take this one. It's really amazing. There's free phones all over the place. Look, here, really, I should really stop this at some point. I don't know how that's gonna happen. I dropped my glasses. Oh no, we're incredibly close.
I hid mine. Oh my god.
All right. Is my light on? The light's on? This way I can tell where. Oh, sorry. Here you go. And then you take this one. Okay, now we're ready to begin. Hey, let me see this. I feel pretty, oh so pretty. I feel. There you go. No. I don't know why I just did that. Does everybody want to exchange their phones back? They're like, oh my god, they're updating my Facebook status. Turning me into a Republican lesbian. Which would actually be kind of awesome. Does everyone need their phone back? Hold your phone if you've got somebody else's phone. Go find each other. It's a great way, make friends. You can also have the phones, make friends with each other. It's like this phone sex. It's not really what happened there. That was not appropriate. That was inappropriate. And I apologize to the parents in the room. That's as colorful as it gets today, so you can relax. That's the worst joke I'm gonna make. Oh, Pizza Man is here. Give a round of applause for being not guilty and having pizza. Genius. So, look, I am an actor. I act with my voice. I also act with my thighs, occasionally. Acting is a whole body experience. It is when I voice act too. I act physically in the booth. What I usually like to do is I usually like to start these off by answering a lot of the questions that normally get, you're eating your phone. That is, she was totally eating her own phone. Cannibalism. I don't think that's the right word, but I used it. I like to start off by telling people what I've done and how I got into voice acting and why I don't wear shoes and why do you smell that way? I don't know. But so I'll start with how did I get into voice acting? Or when did I start acting? In the womb. That's, wow, I was doing a fetus. Doing Hamlet. Gargling amniotic fluid. Okay, I lied. It got a little worse. I apologize. So, I started acting in the role. I was actually, people go, how did you get into voice acting? And I was at rehearsals one day, and my friend Brad Jackson, who plays Oolong in Dragon Ball Z, came in and go, yeah, pig. Or DBZ. We were cheering for DBZ and Oolong. But he came in and he's like, you should go audition for this thing called Dragon Balls. And I was like, Dragon Balls? That sounds naughty. And he's like, no, it's Japanese anime. And I was like, definitely naughty. He was like, no, it's cool, you're gonna like it. And so I said, okay. And I went and I picked up the phone. He goes, here's this number, you can call this guy. So I picked up the phone, and this guy's name was Chris Sabat. And I was like, okay, I'll give this guy a call. So I picked up the phone, and I was like,
hello? Yeah, hey, hi, hello?
yeah, hi, my name's Chuck. Brad Jackson told me to give you a call to audition for Dragon Balls?
Oh, yeah, no, it's Dragon Ball Z. Yeah, we made that mistake for the first 6 weeks too. Yeah, it's Dragon Ball Z. Yeah, sure, you can audition like 4 o'clock tomorrow at 4, or maybe today at 5. Like, we could do tomorrow. How about, no, yeah, hold on, I gotta get a pencil.
It's the weirdest audition ever.
Yeah, okay, I'm back. I got a pencil. Yeah, we can do 4 o'clock tomorrow. Just come by. Yeah, come by and you'll audition. It'll be great. It's awesome, man. Here, yeah, I gotta go. Something's on fire.
I'm like, okay, I did that, but I don't know where to go. Oh, hello?
Yeah, sorry, I forgot to tell you where to go. It's at the, 820 and Roof Snow, where the bank building is. There's a bank building there, and we're on the first floor of the bank. Okay, I gotta go. It's still on fire. Bye.
Like, okay. And it was one of those, I was like, okay, I guess tomorrow I'm gonna audition for something. And I had started as an actor in Chicago. I started acting at the Goodman Theater and the Steppenwolf Theater and the Court Theater, all the sort of really, really good Chicago theaters up there, and acted in movies and television shows. And then Chicago was an expensive place to raise a family. You couldn't like have a tree swing in a fort because you lived in a 700 square foot apartment. And they get mad if you have tree swings in small apartments. Not so much forts, but they're made out of pillows. I still do that. The kids always want to get in them, and I'm like, no, it's my fort. But so we moved to Fort Worth, Texas, where I had gone to high school. My family lived there, and stuff is really cheap there. So I was like, hey, this is great. We can kind of be poor and have a nice house. Because actors generally are kind of poor. We live sort of, we live sort of wealthy lifestyles because we get to travel around the world or travel to gigs, but generally speaking, we're not. We're sort of working class people, unless you're famous and then you're a different type of class of person. But so I was going to this audition and I was sort of unsure about it. And then as the day wore on, my bank account was overdrawn. I had to get change out of the change drawer to put gas in the car to get to the audition. And I'm driving to the audition and it starts raining and I get a flat tire. And I'm on the side of the highway changing the flat tire and I'm like, stupid audition, I'm not gonna go to the stupid audition. Guy with the voice and the fire and the pencil. And then, it's one of those moments in your life where I was sitting there on the side of the road, changing the tire, stupid audition, and you hear that voice, Chuck, deep inside, Chuck, go to the, it was Vic Mignogna's voice, Chuck, go to the audition, I need you to play Bones later in Star Trek Continues, and we'll never meet if you don't do this audition. And so I, was like, okay, I'll go, and I went to the audition. I got Garlic Jr. was the first thing I got. I'm gonna push you into the dead zone. Not you personally, I just mean that as a joke. No, actually, now I think I am. Wouldn't that be funny if she disappeared? And I really pushed her into the dead zone? That's funny. Are you getting nervous? Are you nervous now? I don't know why I did that. So after Garlic Jr., I got Android 17 and Kibito and Master Shen and Mr. Shu. Yeah, we can trip with those guys. They're awesome. And then I got Hiei and Yu Yu Hakusho. Sometimes I call John Bergmeyer late at night and I go, Kurama, it's Hiei. I love you. Look at that, Kurama's stretching out her hand to me. Oh, look at that. Wow. That was racy. So, and then there were a bunch of other things. I did Hero from Shin-Chan, Stein from Soul Leader. Wow, I guess people like that show. And I did, what else did I do? Austria, my goodness, Austria from Italia. Screams are always, oh, now it's, hello. Hello? I feel like a grandma sometimes. Hello, check 1, 2. I don't know, I think this battery might be dying. What was I saying?
Austria.
Oh, Austria, yes. For some reason, the screams are significantly higher when I do Austria. And this was weird, all Hitalia fans all over the world, Ireland, New Zealand, Australia, doesn't matter where, Hitalia fans all over the world, when I do my Austria voice, I say, stay away from my vital regions, and they all go, look, she's covering her face, just like it there. So it's just what happens. I don't know how it is, but Hitalia fans all over the world have like talked and said, you know what we should do when Chuck does a voice? We should squeal and cover our faces. And so they do. It's really weird. Are you taking pictures? Mm-hmm. Go ahead, take one more. That was stupid. So then people usually ask me, they're like, Chuck, what is your favorite character? And my favorite character is all of them. What's yours? What'd you say?
Wow.
Did you say Shao Tucker? Wow, the crowd has turned so quickly. They're like, burn him, burn him! The cow goes moo, the cat goes meow. The dog goes, Edward, kill me. So sad.
You did that. You did that yesterday.
Come here, you cute little Nina. Cute little Nina, baby. Fetch. It's okay. What I do is I push it beyond pain, and then you go all the way around the circle of pain back to happy. I don't think that's a real thing, but we'll pretend it is. So people ask me, they're like, what is your favorite character? And I usually say, Hiei. You can cheer for him. Or lightly squeal and furiously clap, like these two ladies did. They went, and Hiei is my favorite because I'd never been to a convention before Hiei, and the people at the nice people at Funimation, I came up to work one day and they were like, we want to take you to a con. I was like, that is awesome! What's a con? And they were like, it's where people cosplay. And I was like, amazing! What is cosplay? They were like, you'll see, Chuck. And so I was like, okay. They're like, we're gonna give you a plane ticket. I'm like, for free? They were like, yeah. And like, put you up in a hotel room. I'm like, what? And give you some money. No way! I said, what am I going to do? Am I going to pass out flyers? Like, watch Yu Yu Hakusho. It's a great show. I play Hiei. It's awesome. And they were like, no, Chuck, you're going to be signing autographs. And I was like, oh, you're stupid. They were like, no, Chuck, you're stupid. And I was like, no, I've been in this business longer than this company's been alive. I think I know a thing or two. And I won't be signing any autographs. You don't understand how this works. And they were like, no, Chuck, you don't understand how this works. So we flew to this little convention in San Diego called Comic-Con.
Oh my God.
And we're in this giant room, and they bring you up to the table. You know how they keep the like autograph line queued away from the table? I sit down at the table, I'm like, see, there is no one here. You guys are so stupid. And they were like, no, Chuck, that is your line. People wait. I looked around and there was like, I don't know, 1,000 people waiting to get my autograph, and I was like, I don't understand what's happening. They're like, they're coming here to get your autograph. I'm like, they're in line. And they're like, yes, Chuck, they're waiting for you. I'm like, for me? So I went from never signing an autograph to signing autographs for 4 hours straight. And like the first 15 minutes were really scary because those people had been in line for a long time and really loved Hiei and really, really had to pee. So they were like, and I was like, ooh, oh, oh. And they, it was scary, a little scary at first. Then after like 15 minutes, I realized, oh, these are all just my friends from high school and they can all talk on the interwebs and get together at the same time and love stuff. And, those first autographs were weird because, like I never signed an autograph, so I was like, do you want the middle name too? Cody? Should it? No? Okay. One. And they were like, Chuck, you're gonna have to do that a lot faster. And I was like, oh yeah, you're right. And then like the next 20 autographs I signed were all really weird. Because I was like, I need my autograph signature. So I was like, I'm gonna put a rocket on the end. Oh, that's stupid looking. I'm gonna put a flower in my U. No, that doesn't work. And then you eventually get to like sort of your regular autograph way of autographing, which is the way I autograph now. So Hiei is my favorite for that reason, because I've never met you guys before. And I think you guys are awesome. Because you're all different and unique, but you're all part of the same family. We are all part of the same family. You're awesome, person who yelled that. Oh, hi. You are awesome. We are all, I think all of us are awesome. It's really neat doing this as often as I've done it. I did 26 conventions last year. I know, it's like 2 per month. But if that's all you have to do for work, it's not that hard. You know what I mean? It's a really good job. It is work. You gotta travel, and you gotta be present, and you gotta stand up and talk, but it's an amazing job. I've done construction, I poured concrete, I was a janitor, emptied garbage, I was a principal of a Catholic school. I know, really weird. It was while I was doing Yu Yu Hakusho, and some of the kids were like, somebody said you're Android 17. I'm like, I am. No, you're not. Detention. But it's a good job. It's a good gig because we go to these conventions and everybody is of the same mindset, that everybody else is totally cool exactly as they are. Like there's not many places on earth where you instantly feel like exactly who I am right now is perfectly fine. And there's maybe a little bit of self-judgment that we all go through, like, oh, my cosplay. Wow. Wow. It's all right. You get a little bit of the self-judgment, like, oh, my cosplay could be better, or their cosplay is better, but nobody cares. Somebody always comes up to you and it's like, oh my God, name of character you are cosplaying, can I take your picture? And you're like, you feel good. That's why it's always good to do that. When you recognize a character, especially if it's someone who, like obviously had to make their own cosplay out of their brother's leftover clothes or whatever, because they didn't have the money to buy stuff. When you see a cosplay like that someone's put effort into and maybe needs some love, be like, oh, I recognize that character. Can I take your picture? And you will see someone's face light up like you have never seen before. One of the experiences I had that sort of really describes this community to a T was there was a karaoke contest. And one of the kids got up for the karaoke contest, and he was obviously in the spectrum. And Jessica and I have a son who's 7 and autistic, so we're very familiar with the spectrum. And everybody's a little bit spectrum. If you look into it, you're like, wow, you just handle it different. But everybody is. And also, point of fact, things like Facebook, Google, Apple, all started by spectrum people. So they're the new race that's taking over the world. But anyway, there was a spectrum kid on stage, and he obviously thought that he was singing the song, but he was just kind of rocking back and forth, not able to get over his nerves to start letting his voice come out. And I sat there and I went, oh, awkward, oh God. And then suddenly the crowd like noticed it and started singing for him. And then he got more strength in his voice and started singing with the crowd. And then at the end, he got a standing ovation. So, and he deserved it too, because there is nothing harder than being terrified on stage and getting over that terror. But there's no place on this earth where someone can get up and fail like that and turn it into a success because the crowd came to their aid. That doesn't happen. The crowd outside of this world, the crowd is not nice. I was at a convention in Washington one time, and it was similar to this, except no walkway between it. It was in 2 different hotels, separated by about 2 blocks. And I was going from panels to autographs, and like this truck full of bros with their shotguns, they roll down their windows, and there's a stream of cosplayers on the street, and they roll down their windows, and they're like, nerdy nerd jerk nerds! Except there was swear words. And I got all mad. I felt like a father, and these were all my children, and I kind of bowed up to like, I don't know, throw myself at the truck driving past. Showed you! Broken arm. But I got all like angry, and then I kind of looked around, and I looked at everyone cosplaying on the street, and I was like, they're all carrying weapons. You would be destroyed if you stopped. And then I went, no. They would be destroyed if they stopped. What happened is some cute little Lolita girl would walk over and like, you'd be like, jerky nerd, jerk nerds. And the cute little Lolita would put cat ears on him and be like, you are one of us now. And he'd be like, jerky nerd, jerk kawaii. They'd be like, come this way. We are going to play Cards Against Humanity. You will like it. It will be fun.
Okay. Oh, Dragon Ball Z, I get that.
But so this is the only place where even people being like super jerks, we would be like, no, you don't get it. You don't get to be that way here. Nobody does. We're all nice.
Well, okay.
It's a really neat experience doing this, and it's the same all over the world. It was very enlightening to go to Dublin and Auckland and Melbourne, Sydney, and see that, oh, you guys are exactly the same everywhere. We girls and guys. We humanity. Let's see, what else can I tell you about? My beard makes a funny noise when I rub a microphone. Actually, I had an itch on my cheek. Just thought I'd scratch it. And now I turn it over to you guys for questions. If you have any questions you'd like to ask. Okay, great. It's been a great panel. I'll see you. No, I'm kidding. Are there any questions? Here's one.
Which character have you made the most money on?
Made the most money on? I don't make a lot of money on characters. Like, we don't get paid a lot for the recording. $50 an hour. Which sounds like a lot if you're working 40 hours a week, but you don't work 40 hours a week. Sometimes you work 40 hours in a year. Because it doesn't take that long to record a character. So you don't make a lot of money recording. When I'm at the dealer's table selling Jessica's artwork, that's where there's more of a payback. And the payback is also that I have a family all over the world. Literally, I could be in any city in the United States and post on Facebook like, oh, I need someone to give me a ride, and I'll have 10 rides. It's really cool. More questions? Yes. Did I cry? I don't think I did. Yeah. No, did I cry? No, I thought it was funny. Now you gotta understand, when we recorded, there was nobody else recorded. Brina hadn't recorded yet. It was just me I was like, oh, this guy is evil. Oh, he turned his dog and daughter into a dog turd. That's awesome. You know, and then because you don't know, but you're not watching it in sequence. You're not watching the story. Then when I saw the story, I was like, I am a horrible human being. It's the only character, a little 8-year-old girl will come up to the table and be like, die, old man! I'm like, you're cute. You should die. It's just an imaginary story. I don't care. You should have done it. I don't know why I sound like I smoke a pack a day when I'm 8. Yes, question back there.
Do you ever slip into your voices when it's like day to day?
I'm always voices that sometimes my children will be like, Dad, use your real voice. And I'll be like, I don't know what that is. No, I like to slip into dialects all the time. I like to travel British because you're treated better when you're British. We're like, I'm sorry, I don't understand. You mean I'm not supposed to sit first class? Like, oh no, that's okay. You can sit first class. Oh, thank you. I thought so. So lovely. So I slip into voices, different voices all the time. I have different Starbucks. I have my Russian Starbucks, where I'm Dmitri. I've got my Irish Starbucks. I like to be different people all the time. Yes, we'll go with the question here. How was I able to be Ash in Black Butler? Yeah, well, Black Butler came about, I think Colleen was directing that, and she asked me to come audition for it, and I auditioned for it, and I got Ash. And Black Butler was really funny because we recorded that, I don't know, 10 years ago, and then it was put on Netflix or Hulu or something, and suddenly there was like, kaboom, like this giant fandom for Black Butler that started showing up at the tables, and I'm like, Black Butler? That was like 7 years ago. People are like, it's on Netflix. I was like, oh, okay, I get it. So, you're new Netflix fans. Yes, back there.
Which was your favorite character?
You missed the first part of the thing. It was a really long story and it was funny. But the short version is Hiei, because I'd never been to a convention before Hiei. Question here.
I know you said you were an actor previously, but did you have to go through any like training to be a vocal actor?
Not specific training to be a voice actor. I went to the Goodman School of Drama in Chicago, which is a conservatory acting program. And it's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week acting. They make you act in your sleep. They're like, you better have acting dreams. You're like, but at one time you're like waking up at 6 to get to yoga class, working all day till 7. You get like an hour break and you got to go to rehearsals or tech crew or whatever, and you get home at midnight, and then you're supposed to have a dream journal. And we're like, at one point we were like, they are working us 24/7. We're supposed to journal about our dreams. So we're supposed to remember our dream, like we're working while sleeping. It's not fair. But it was a really good conservatory acting school, and I learned a whole bunch about acting. But specifically for voice acting, no. The training I got was on the job. And everybody was learning, so it was really easy. Yes, sir.
Do you get excited or really amped to be a part of something like Dragon Ball Z, where you're talking about different types of anime, but everybody can just love Dragon Ball Z?
Yeah, Dragon Ball Z was incredible because it had its first life, and now it's having its second life with the movies, and everybody now, the next generation is, showing it to their children. So there's this whole resurgence of it, and it just keeps getting bigger. Like the crowds for DBZ were smaller in the beginning. Now the DBZ, like I was so happy to get back into Emperor Pilaf. Oh yeah, Emperor Pilaf, he's such a good character. Would you be my girlfriend? And Emperor Pilaf's voice, it's a good example of how I do my voices. A lot of times people will come up to the table, why is it not working? Do we need a new mic? Do we need a new microphone? Hello, hello. It keeps shorting out. I don't know. Maybe I'll just try to hold it still. You guys can hear me, right? Yeah, Emperor Pilaf's a good example of... Thank you, comedy microphone. The timing on that was perfect because I was holding it so still.
It was on purpose.
Was it? Did you guys short it out? Just to hurt my feelings? No, not really. Emperor Pilaf is a great... People will come up to the table sometimes and they'll be like, oh, I do a great impression of Austria. And I'll be like, great, let me hear it. And they do a great Austria. I'm like, wow, that's amazing. Sometimes people will come up to the table and not notice that I'm the actor. I don't know how, because there's a giant sign behind me, but people are like, I'm looking at stuff. Oh, And this one girl, I was like, she was like, "Oh, Dr. Stein." I was like, "Yeah, I'm going to dissect you." And she was like, "As if." And I was like, "No, I'm the voice actor." And she was like, "That was pretty good, but wasn't quite right." And I was like, "You're gonna feel silly in 3, 2, 1. Oh my God, you are!" Eyes, "I am so sorry." She was like, "Can I have an autograph?" I was like, "No." No, I wasn't. I thought it was hilarious. She was protecting me though, because she was protecting the real voice actor, because she thought I was some like person trying to pretend to be the voice actor. But so people will do imitations like of characters, and sometimes they're spot on. But if you want to be a voice actor, you should do what I do, which is bad imitations. I'm really bad at doing imitations. So Emperor Pilaf came about because I did my best imitation, which was pretty bad, of a character named Edith Bunker from All in the Family. Ow, Archie, oh, yeah, I'm Emperor Pilaf. So Emperor Pilaf is really a 60-year-old woman from Queens. It's a true story. And like people sometimes will say, "Do you do Yoda?" And I'm like, "No, but I can do Billy Yoda. Billy Yoda, Yoda's brother-in-law. I am Billy Yoda. I know I have force. I throw things." Yes, tall man in the back with your hand. That was funny. They're always in my head. Shh, I'm talking to them. Yeah, they're always in my head. They don't, but I absorb characters more so when I'm doing stage work. The characters absorb into my body. I did Sherlock Holmes in The Crucifer of Blood, and I was very Sherlock Holmes for a while. I did Petruchio in Taming of the Shrew, and I was constantly hitting women. No, I'm kidding. Petruchio slaps Kate around. It's Shakespeare. It's classics. It's classic physical abuse. Our production was different. We didn't. Maybe it's just where I'm standing. I'll stand over here. Hi. Yeah. So the characters enter my body when. What? Yeah, so they influence me, but sometimes the voices will come out at odd times. Dad, just read the story. Yes, question.
Do you ever do something to warm
Bless
up?
you. Do I ever what?
Do you ever do something to warm up before you do an audition?
Yes, warm-ups before an audition. Like the best warm-up, like the way to start any vocal warm-up is just gentle humming, like, and then you move your face around, you get the blood, like you would with anything else. You get the blood flowing to all the mechanisms that are involved in speaking: your face, your tongue, your soft palate, your throat, your lungs, your diaphragm, your nasal resonate. Like there's a whole bunch of things going into physical speech. And then I do tongue twisters, and everyone can do tongue twisters to get better at speaking. And they've done studies on the human body. The most stressful thing you can do to the human body for an occupation is to try to land a jet aircraft on an aircraft carrier at night in the middle of an ocean. And the second most stressful thing you could do is stand up in front of a group of people and talk. So all of us could get better, and we make people do that starting in first grade. So you have this idea that you're supposed to do a book report, and teachers don't say, "You're going to be terrified and this is going to feel like you're dying, but just tell us about Charlotte's Web." And so we force children in school, but give them no skills to land that jet plane on that aircraft carrier. So it's a terrifying thing that you go through. And it can affect you for the rest of your life because you have a limbic system, the adrenal system that says run or kill, and those are both bad ideas in a book report. You just don't want to do that. But you feel like you're gonna die. Anyone ever gotten up in front of a group of people and felt like they were gonna die? Yeah, we all have. I do. I get nervous before I come do a panel like this. I don't know why. I've been doing it for so long. I'm less nervous now. because I'm more confident that I can handle it. But it's a terrifying thing. So tongue twisters are a great way because you have to have the physical capability to speak. And when you get nervous, that little shakiness comes into it. And if you have physical strength in the muscles, you can be a better speaker. So one of the ones I give to people, it's really simple. It's a name, Peggy Babcock. Peggy Babcock, Peggy Babcock, Peggy Babcock. You try to say that 3 times fast. Ready? And go.
Peggy Babcock.
Nope, you all said Pebby. I heard it. You were all like, Pebby Babcock, snobble, Mickey Mouse. It wasn't even clear. You're not even trying. But the way to practice a tongue twister is to do it as slowly as possible, as slowly as you need to without making any mistakes, and then increase the speed gradually. And you'll do it takes 10, 20 seconds a day. Do it 2 or 3 times a day. You'll have it nailed in a couple days, and then go on to another one. And you'll be an amazing speaker. One of my favorite long ones is, she stood on the balcony inexplicably mimicking him, hiccuping, and amicably welcoming him in. I know, it's pretty masterful. More questions? Yes.
Oh, hello.
Oh, hi.
Lifetime Dragon Ball fan. First costume I ever made for Dragon Ball was for 17 when I was 10.
Oh, good. Now I have to kill you because humans are stupid.
I would be honored. No, my question is, you told some good con stories. What is the worst con story you've ever had?
I don't really have worse con stories, but there was a weird one where Vic and I were on a panel, and this girl at the panel towards the end was like, when the panel's over, would you two sign my glass eye? No, she said touch my glass eye. She didn't say sign it. But that was even you know, it's creepy. So a little 15-year-old girl comes up and is like, poke me in the eye. And we're like, ah! Woo-hoo-hoo! You fake eye! People walking in, 2 grown men poking a little girl in the eye. Come try it. It's really fun because it didn't hurt her. She cosplays as a zombie, pops it out, pours blood in it. It's like, bleh. People are like, your makeup is amazing. How'd you do it? She's like, riding my bike when I was 6. But that's another, you know, it's awesome. That's the type of thing that, like, anywhere else in the world, her glass eye is a source of, you know, nervousness or pain. But at an anime convention, it's like, did you see Glass Eye Girl? Her zombie cosplay is amazing! And everybody wants to see her eye taken out. You know, like, she becomes the center of attention for having an eye missing. One time I signed a guy, had 1 leg, and he had like this, like Iron Man, a robotic leg thing, and he was like, sign it. I was like, oh God, how much did that cost? He was like, $87,000. I was like, that's like signing a Bentley. Sign it. I was like, okay, Mr. Soldier Man with your Iron Man leg. So I signed it. That was pretty cool. So glass eye, Iron Man leg. You know, sometimes awesome stuff like that. Any other questions? Yes.
What were your favorite and least favorite scenes to record?
Favorite scene to record and least favorite scene to record. I don't know about least favorite. What would be my least favorite? I don't really have any least favorites. Sometimes you do those fan servicey shows where it's like, you know, whatever, I can't even do it. But it's just like not, you know, you're like, this isn't telling a story. This is for drawing boobies, you know. It's like, I don't like those shows so much. They're not my favorite. I like real stories. So those are not my favorite. My favorite one was probably Dragon of the Darkness Flame when EA, you know, whooped up in the Dark Tournament. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Smattering of applause for the dragon. I appreciate it. Any other questions? Blue shirted man at the back. Yes, I'm in, I think, next week's episode of Dimension W. I am in Divine Gate. I play Loki, the trickster.
I found that this morning.
Yeah, it's pretty
I was
awesome.
blown out of my mind.
There's some other things that I'm not supposed to say, and so I shall not say them. I'm trying to get better at that. Funimation gets mad at you. They're like, thanks for spoiling our release. I'm like, sorry. Yes. Do I like cats? Jessica is a cat person and I'm a dog person. And when we moved in together, Jessica wanted one cat and I wanted no cats, so we compromised and got 3. But now I love cats. It's a good cat. We have good cats. One of our cats is named Trouble, and it's Tonkinese. It's like a Siamese, but the shape is a little different. But it was a little tiny kitten outside hiding under my car. I tried to back over it, but it escaped. And then I came back home, and Jessica was like, "Did you see the kitty?" Except it was cuter when she did it. She was so excited. And I was loading groceries in, and I was like, "Oh, I want a cat." She was like, "It's so cute." And I'm like, she's like, "Juno, what would you name the cat?" And I was like, "I'd name it Trouble." And she was like, "Trouble, great name." So we named the cat Trouble. She tricked me into naming the cat. It was really annoying. Yeah.
What's your opinion on the fact that originally the Kurama was supposed to have menstruations, but they changed that for the official release?
Is that true?
Yeah, in the manga.
In the manga they had a physical relationship? They were supposed to? What does that mean, they were supposed to? Is that just like a rumor? I think that's a rumor that people who ship them.
Rumor.
You know what I ship? I ship via FedEx or UPS. But I'll tell you this, the great thing about anime is that there is stuff for everybody in anime. If you want to ship Hiei and Kurama, you may do that. Like I said, I called John Bergmeyer late at night. I'm like, "Kurama." And he's like, "Chuck, it's John, stop calling me at 3 in the morning. I'm like, "But I love you." I'm like, "Do the voice." He's like, "No, I'm hanging up." I'm calling back. Question. If I got to play any other character, who would it be? I would be Edward Elric. Brother! Brother! I would ruin that anime, right?
Oh, brother. You call me short?
No, I would have ruined it. It would have been terrible. Yes.
But Star Trek continues. I wonder, was it difficult for you to step into such an iconic character like Bones?
It was a little nerve-wracking because the first day we got on set, like Chris Doohan, son of James Doohan, was there. Grant Imahara from Mythbusters was there. And we were all kind of like, we are nerding out inside, trying to pretend we're normal. And Grant would go over to the craft service table and be getting some pretzels. He'd be like, "Suddenly, I need pretzels." "Oh, yeah, hey Grant, what's up?" "Yeah, my name's Chuck, good to meet you." "What was it like making R2-D2? He's like, "Oh, great, I'm stuck with you for a long time." Not really. He was really cool. It was amazing. That's another show that, I never thought, someone is having fun. I never thought that I would end up part of the actual Star Trek universe. If you would have told me as an actor that I would end up legitimately in the Star Trek universe, I would have been no. But because as the cast dwindles, here on Earth, we get to be the sort of representations of the cast going forward. And Star Trek, conventions are going to continue, and Star Trek is continuing. And I told Vic this, I said in 150 years, when people are showing their children what their great-grandpa used to love about Star Trek, they will show them Star Trek continues, then the movies, because we're going to fill in that gap. And you wouldn't skip it. What up? I just got my 10 from Erica, but she did it all she was like, boom, 10. So I got 10 minutes left. But yeah, Dr. McCoy is amazing and awesome to be inside his.
Watch any Star Trek? Did you watch any of his?
Yeah, I watched the entire. I used to watch it on Sunday afternoons after we'd mow the lawn, and it was out of order and it was reruns, and you just kind of I hope there's an alien. When you're a little kid, I was like 6 or 7, you wanted things to explode. Use the phasers! I hope they transport, You wanted the special effects to happen. You didn't really follow the philosophy or the social commentary that was going on. So it was really neat to go back through it as an adult and be like, oh, and I have to be honest, they were really stupid in those first couple of episodes. They were not the smartest military people in the world. They're like, that boy could destroy everything. Let's let him walk out of the room. Yeah. Yes, question here. Yes. This last one, episode 5, Divided We Stand. It was a big McCoy episode, and I got to be a Civil War doctor, and we filmed in a Civil War reenactment. We, it was just pretty amazing. Although number 6 is also cool. Yes, next to her.
Oh, yeah. So if you could be a part of any show that's not anime, which one would it be?
Any show that's not anime, which one would it be? Television show? I don't know, Walking Dead or I don't know, Firefly, go back in time and... Oh no, I know, I'll be the next Doctor Who.
Yeah!
I could actually rock, they've gotten our Superman, they've gotten our Batman, they've gotten our Spider-Man, those Brits. It's about time an American gets one of their superheroes, in my opinion. Yes, right here. Nah, kigurumis sometimes. Jess and I will hit the kigurumis on a Sunday. Cosplaying, no, not so much, but we should. My oldest son, he's 17, he kind of accidentally cosplays Sherlock Holmes. He just kind of generally looks like Benedict Cumberbatch, and so he also wears sort of Sherlock Holmes-y clothes. I think he's sort of like subtly cosplaying. He's like, I'm not cosplaying, this is just the way I dress. And then people are like, you look like Benedict Cumberbatch from Sherlock Holmes. He's like, oh really? I didn't know that, because everybody says it. He's not nearly as smart and cool as I was making him. He's more like, cool. Yes. What are my favorite parts about voice acting? Definitely the favorite part about voice acting is getting to come to conventions and meet all you guys. No, it's true, absolutely. It is the best part about it. It's a really, I don't know if you guys know this, but because I get to come here and sit at a table and sell prints and sign them, I have other actor friends who have to work really hard to book commercial gigs and industrial gigs, and I get to tell my agent like I'm a star. I get to be like, no, I don't audition for commercials anymore. I don't audition for industrials. I just do television and films, and only television and films that I actually want to do. I don't have to do auditions for TV shows I don't like. I'm like, nah, I don't want to do that. Because you guys make it so that I don't need a day job or a second job. Yes? Loki's voice from Divine Gate? Yes, I can. Yes, here. Oh my goodness, you wish for me to do Austria? Stay away from my vital regions. In the back there. Oh, least favorite? I never watched Enterprise. Was that the Scott Bakula one? I heard it was pretty good, but it started slow and I didn't like it. 5 minutes left. We got time for 2 or 3 more questions, probably. Ghoul. No. Yes. The weirdest experience with a fellow voice actor? There's so many. Most of them are unmentionable. I'm literally going through a list of things I cannot say. I know, not a lot of weird experiences that are PG-13. Yes?
Why are you barefoot?
Why am I barefoot? Shoes are evil. No, I tend to not like to wear shoes. I have some flip-flops over here, but I trip on them. I like to be barefoot. It's called earthing, You go out in the grass and stick your feet in the grass, and you can lower your blood pressure, reduce swelling. The riders in the Tour de France for years have always, when they get in an accident, it's tradition, you take off your shoes and put your feet on the ground to reduce the swelling right away. There's, in Norway, all framers, carpenters, they all take their coffee in the morning barefoot on the grass. And when the new guys come in and don't do that, they say you have to take your coffee barefoot in the grass or your back will be gone within 10 years. So there's a lot of good electric universe science to the idea of why this connection to and I honestly think the earth gives us dew on the grass in the morning so that you take a moment and go outside in your bare feet with your coffee and watch the sunrise and earth connect, discharge, and then start your day. And that's why I do it. And also shoes are evil. Yes, down here. His laugh, my favorite part about voicing Stein was his laugh. You got to go really cray-cray. It's awesome to go like absolutely nuts. Right here. My roles for Case Closed? Yeah, for a while it was like, if that's Chuck Huber's voice, he's the killer. So I played a lot of killers on Case Closed. Yes, back there. Say that again?
Do your kids have a favorite anime story?
I showed my oldest, Dragon Ball Z when it came out, and I was like, watch, this is my show, and he was like, this was his reaction. This fight is taking a really long time. I was like, yeah, then you won't like the show. That's not for you then. Yes?
Other than Vic Mignogna, who's your biggest man crush?
Other than Vic Mignogna, who's my biggest man crush? I don't know. I really like Chris Sabat a lot. It's not really a man crush. It's more of a like colleague crush, because you're like, oh, he's awesome. I think we're running out of time. We've got, we've got to clear and then get out. So we got 2 more minutes and then we got to clear. So we'll do 2 more questions. Yes? My Stein voice? My Kitty Stein voice? Meow. I'm going to dissect you. Really weird. Yes?
Android 17.
I could, but then I'd have to kill you. Yes?
Why do you think Hiei never told Yukina?
Yeah, that's an actual question. I don't know. Maybe he had done it so long that he just couldn't see going any other direction. Like he didn't want to, I think probably because he didn't want to upset her life. Her life was set. So he didn't want to like throw a wrench into it. That is all that we have time for. I'm not going to be able to sit here and sign because I got to go back to my table in Dealers Hall. But you can find me in Dealers Hall for the next 45 minutes, and then I have my Fringe panel at 5 o'clock here, 5 to 6. Same room, and it's my Fringe panel where I will blow your mind, and you will be like, I don't understand the universe anymore. It's all conspiracy theories and aliens and, all sorts of wonderful stuff. So thanks, guys. You've been awesome.